Welcome to a ship review and analysis of the Hercules Starlifter M2. My name is Digital Master, and in this video we will discuss the Starlifter M2 and my interpretation of its purpose in the verse. We would then follow up with some considerations regarding its closest ship or vehicle competition, and finish by providing my opinion on whether you should consider adding this to your fleet. If this is your first time watching one of my reviews, allow me to share my format. To begin, I go over the ship or vehicle's description and stock loadout. From there, we discuss the ship's analysis and who I believe the ship is designed for. I then provide an analysis for the pledge price of the ship and share my subjective opinion on if you should consider picking one up via pledge. If that sounds good to you, let's get started. The M2 Hercules is the UAE's premier tactical starlifter. The ship's potent combination of capacity, maneuverability, and durability make it the obvious choice in large-scale transport, and a robust weapons package assures your cargo and crew get to where they're going in one piece. Some of this ship's notable features include 12 additional seats designated for troop transport. The M2 also has an armory and 3 beds. The M2 is fitted with a type of heavy armor according to the official Q&A. As a result, this ship has, or will have, substantial defenses against a wider range of ordnance. For notable strengths, the Hercules M2 seems to be specifically designed to excel in logistical support for ground operations, such as dropping troops and equipment into heavily contested areas. I can also see this being used as a dedicated cargo hauler when traveling long distances. However, as its offensive and defensive capabilities do not seem to be aligned with spacefaring combat, I would suggest that it's not specifically designed to travel through dangerous territory without an escort or two. For the notable weaknesses, the Hercules weapon and turret locations indicate that it is designed specifically for dedicated defense and/or offense against targets or opposition coming from below the ship, and to a limited degree from the front, rear, port, and starboard side. As you might imagine, this leaves the top half of the ship completely exposed to attack. As a result, again, this ship is not intended for dedicated air-to-air or spacefaring combat, in my opinion. For the ship's stock loadout, it has a 1-size-3 superdrive power plant. The power plant is military grade C. It also has 1-size-3 Pontes quantum drive, which is military grade C, and 2-size-3 Mercury coolers, grade C, military. For the shields, it has 2-size-3 full blocks, which is military grade B. It has 4-size surveyors for its radar capabilities. These are of military grade A quality. For its thrusters, it has 12 size 1 main thrusters, 12 size 1 maneuvering thrusters, and 2 size 1 retro thrusters. Now onto its weapons package. We're looking at 2 size 4 gimbaled revenants, which are controlled by the pilot with the DPS of 1,343. As for turrets, it has 3, carrying a total of 6 size 4 M6A laser cannons, dishing out a total of 3,108 DPS. For cargo, it has a capacity of 522 SCUs or standard cargo units. And with that loadout, as expected, this is quite the capable ship for its intended roles. So what do I believe to be this ship's primary purpose? I'd say short to long distance cargo hauling, specifically within contested or dangerous areas in the verse. I believe the strength of this ship resides in security and long range. Additionally, as it holds 12 seats for troop transport and a cargo bay large enough to hold a few tanks or a ballista along with a host of smaller vehicles, this ship can be considered a very viable dropship. As you can imagine, this specific variant, the M2, will most likely be used heavily in large-scale organizational ground warfare battles. As such, it can be used as a combination of a dropship along with supply line support. If that wasn't enough, it has enough firepower on its underbelly with its turrets to provide substantial ground combat support. So who would I say the M2 is for? Well, let's start by talking about my perspective on the pros and cons of utilizing this ship as a solo player. For one, the solo pilot only has command of the top 2 turrets. So when it comes to combat or self-defense, the ship becomes significantly less capable and quite vulnerable. However, there is a caveat. CIG intends to implement what is called server blades and hireable NPCs, both of which will make solo play completely viable for ships like the M2. The only consideration is cost and its relation to server blade and NPC skill level. We will have to see how this balances out when compared to group and org play. My final verdict on the viability of solo play with the M2 is currently that I would personally avoid it until server blades and hireable NPCs are implemented into the game. For the pledge analysis, let me start by sharing the cost of pledging for this ship with real money. During concept, this ship was on pledge for a warbond price of $400 and a standalone pledge price of $480. Now, before you make a final decision, you may want to take the following into consideration. The M2 is designed to have heavy armor. Right now, armor tech is being worked on behind the scenes by CIG to be implemented further down the road. Ship armor tech will introduce a significant change to the way combat is conducted. At the moment, armor is an arbitrary number value, as you might see in most games. Anything that makes contact and is considered a weapon or ordnance chips away at that value. However, with the ambitious nature of the game that is Star Citizen, armor will be physicalized in that it will carry properties that closely mimic reality, far beyond most games available today. Therefore, you won't see a pistol doing any damage to an M2, or for a more grounded example, a size 1 gun penetrating the M2's heavy armor, as a size 1 gun just do not have the power or penetration capabilities of its larger counterparts. So with all things considered, my final suggestion to you is the following. If you are one to play with a group or an org, and the intended playstyle involves cargo running or resupply and support, and there aren't many existing owners within your organization that own this ship, then I would recommend grabbing this one. Alternatively, you and your organization can earn this one in-game. I will always recommend earning ships in-game as the primary choice. However, if you really like this M2 and want to further support the development of Star Citizen, this ship is not a bad choice at all. So with all that information, let's discuss one more thing. There are a lot of ships in Star Citizen and many flavors of the same type as well. So in this segment, I wish to discuss the M2's direct competition per my own observations and deductions. For my criteria, I am going purely based on the Hercules M2's intended role or roles. So in this case, the M2 being a cargo hauler and troop transport. Now, for its cargo hauling capabilities, you have the following alternatives that come close to what the M2 offers and may be of interest to you. Number 1, the Caterpillar, which holds a total of 576 SCU. Number 2, the Carrack, which holds a total of 456 SCU. 3, the Hercules C2, which holds a total of 696 SCU. Finally, we have the Hull B, which holds a total of 384 SCU. Now I'll place the asterisk here because the Hull B is not yet implemented into the game. Now that was a competition on the cargo hauling side of things, but now for its troop transport competition. 1, we have the Vanguard Hoplite, which carries a total of 6 troops. Number 2, the Prowler, which carries a total of 16 troops. Finally, we have the Valkyrie, which holds or carries a total of 20 troops. So what I attempt to do in most cases is find a ship that comes as close as possible to the entire use case of the ship that I am reviewing. In this case, I believe its closest competition in respect to its entire use case argument would be the Anvil Valkyrie. I chose the Valkyrie because it affords troop transport along with cargo space. As of the timing of this video, it is currently the only other ship in the game that provides both. The Valkyrie carries more troops than the M2, but less cargo with 30 SCU. So that's all for this review, and I hope that it was helpful to you in some way. Please let me know your thoughts below in the comments, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more content. Thank you, and hopefully we'll meet in the verse.